Item 34, informational item, administrative office, receive an update from the Calavears County Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, that's
Give me a minute.
nice lunch. Thanks for giving me a time to speak today. Oh, perfect. It's on now? Okay. So I would like to, I guess, give an update on how the Chamber of Commerce has been functioning since receiving the TOT, which then allowed them to start me in my new position as the executive director, and I was also able to hire a new administrator. So we have a full staff of 2 now. I guess beginning that overview. There we go. So we've kind of developed a process on how we've been running the chamber, and I wanted to just kind of go over how that's been working and what we've been doing. So we've been reaching out to members of the community, members and non-members of the chamber alike, business owners, to see how the chamber could provide assistance to them, doing surveys and things like that. And we've been finding for them, utilizing resources and figuring out what we can do for them to help them in whatever problems they may be having, whether that be educational workshops, things like that. So through that, those are kind of what we've been focusing on. The way we've been doing it, just to kind of overview a little bit, we kind of evaluate the issues, we debate them, and then we do something about it. So I figure out what's wrong, then we brainstorm and collaborate and find people who can help, and then we create a workshop or an event or something like that that kind of solves that issue, or just getting them consultations. So what have been some of those solutions that we've been doing to kind of help businesses find the resources that they need. I kind of have some examples that I wanted to show of some of the things that we've done so that way you can kind of see it in action. So the first thing, workshops. These have been pretty successful, and I'm kind of happy to continue doing these. They've been designed specifically on business needs that they have expressed to us. So this was our first one we ever did. This is our QuickBooks Online workshop. So the way that we did this was we discovered by communicating with other business owners that they were having problems with their bookkeeping. So we surveyed and we talked to them and sent out questionnaires to figure out what could be done about that. We then interpreted all that data, and then we created a specialized workshop that focused it on QuickBooks Online, because QuickBooks, I guess the desktop version is going away, so everybody's going to have to go to QuickBooks Online, and that's a big issue. So we created this workshop that got them all talking together, and also it was able to provide them with personalized one-on-one consultations as well. So through this process, we were able to get 38 individuals who had businesses. We were able to get them help with their QuickBooks Online issues. 9 of them even did personalized one-on-one meetings later with the instructor, so that way they could get a deep dive into their specific issues. And when we sent out surveys after, 100% of them reported being satisfied and very excited about what they received and the assistance. Another example here is we did this Learn to Certify workshop. This was a workshop series. So we found that there were a lot of people who wanted to either start a business or who had a business, but they wanted to do things to get government contracts and things like that so they could bring in more outside money. So we debated solutions with that, and we were able to obtain an instructor, and it was kind of this bigger thing. It was meant to be a 9-course workshop, but we were able to fit it into kind of 3.5, 4 workshops, to where students came in and they were able to in these workshops either start their business or certify their business online to where they could start collecting government contracts and things like that. It was really amazing. So 6 of them officially certified their business within that workshop time. 16 of them were there and got assistance that they needed as needed. And again, 100% report happy on that survey. Just kind of using a timeline, so I don't go through every example. These are all of the workshops that we have worked on creating. So, we have the QuickBooks Online. We focused on a social media workshop. There was an optimizing your market for like SEO settings. We have upcoming, we're going to be doing how to build a website. We've noticed that a lot of our businesses don't have a very good online presence or no website at all. So we're actually going to be live in those workshops, building websites for them, with them. And then, working on branding, and the social media one was so well received that another one was requested. So, and then there's more coming up. I just wanted to show the most immediate ones. Another thing we focused on that was kind of a response was events, so connecting people to the community. Our first example of this was our after-hours event. These were kind of existing, long-standing events that we already had, but we decided to kind of do a new twist on it and kind of see if we could improve upon it, and we connected with the Amador Chamber. So through that, they wanted to bridge the gap because our communities are so close. So we were able to do this and create these two events, one in Amador and one in Calaveras, to where we could bring everybody from both sides together to discuss issues and also to just kind of create ideas and networking opportunities. There was, because of this, there was over 200 RSVPs for both of the events combined, 150 different people from both events that were able to attend. And yeah, we were also able to connect people with experts and consultations and opportunities live there at those events as well. So I think that was really great. And it was also nice to just kind of see all of our businesses communicating with each other. Another issue of an event that is a long-standing event, or not super long-standing, but long-standing event that before I was here, is the On the Right Track program. This one is amazing. I'm really, really happy that the Chamber does it, and I would love to keep improving on it. So this program, what it does is it basically takes, seniors who are just about to graduate high school, and we run them through kind of real life scenarios, like what they have to do at the DMV to get, if they need to register their car or renew their driver's license, and we kind of mock up these scenarios for them. So this is something that we wanted to continue and to improve on. So what we did was we discussed how it was done in the past, and we figured out new ways to kind of bring in more people. Because of this, 40 local businesses and also just service providers in the area were able to participate. Both schools reported satisfaction with the program. 100% of the businesses that came want to attend again next year at both schools, and up to 300 students were able to go through the program and receive an education. We also were able to give out scholarships because of this. It was pretty great. So with those kind of as examples, here are all of the ones we've already done, and then the ones that we are working on doing. There is definitely like a more of a focus on, trying to, again, use that process and hearing people and doing, things that would help. Like one that kind of comes to mind that's becoming really important to me is the Food and Beverage Expo. We have heard a lot from our local restaurants that they've been struggling since COVID. So the idea with this expo is to bring in professionals, with all of local restaurants being invited, and they will be able to see panels, go to live workshops, hear from keynote speakers who are professionals in this kind of industry, and get assistance again on site at this event. So they're all on the website as well. And I want to do a tri-county one as well. Since the Amador and Calaveras went so well, I would love to also bring in Tuolumne at some point. So next, to talk about marketing. So something that we've been doing for marketing here is this is one of the examples of something that we've been doing or trying to kind of kick off the ground, is these seasonal campaigns. So the idea was to get people to shop at like a store with a door rather than online. Plaid Friday is kind of the most known one of these. It's an existing thing that we just kind of have adopted for our county and trying to incorporate it as well for us. But it competes with Black Friday, and it basically says don't shop online or at big stores for Black Friday, shop at something local, buy something local. And so with that thought in mind, we were like, well, if that exists and it does so well in other small communities and rural communities in my research, why can't we have more of those kinds of events throughout the year? Hence, Spring Around Town and Shine and Dine were born. So With the Shine and Dine event and with this, the Plaid Friday, I was just coming in and I didn't get a lot of time with it. Spring Around Town, I did get a lot more time and I was able to collect a lot of data for this event. So basically, people who signed up for going kind of through these sections on the Spring Around Town, out of the participants, nearly half of them were not even chamber members, which was really great that we were able to reach out to other people who weren't even members of the chamber to get them to sign up. And also, with the focus on the West End, 48% of the participants as a whole were from West End businesses. So things that we did with them is we were able to give them a bunch of free marketing things. It was a lot of stuff. So starting with, what they received, there was QR codes created and flyers to make seeing participants and what their offerings and deals were easy. So each participant received a personalized flyer to use describing their deals and also representing their business. We created commercial videos that showed each town who was participating, and so customers could know what shops were doing deals and participating within those areas, and maybe even see a business that they hadn't seen before. And so when you look at where we advertised, we did a lot more focus on online because with the small staff, it's a lot easier to do that quickly. But we also used local outlets as well as, KVGC, CCTV, and the Valley Springs newspaper. We also did outsource advertising, reaching out to Ledger Dispatch because of our Amador connection that we had made, and we did a social media reach. With that 150-mile radius that we advertised to, it was, I think, something around like 1,200 different engagements from outside the county. So that was really exciting for us. So how much did we give for each one? So with the 54 business ads that we created, there were 6 town-centered commercials, and that meant that there was about 10 ads per business that were being featured. So that was something that we were really excited to be able to do. Just to kind of give a little overview of what we've been trying to do with social media, since it is such a key tool in the kind of ever-changing market, right? Our Facebook followers, we have been able to increase them to 3.5 thousand there. Instagram 1.5. We have recently started a TikTok using this for a kind of different way to advertise since it's becoming so popular. YouTube, we have been trying to liven that up, and that is where we will soon be featuring videos of our past workshops that we have done. So even if you weren't able to attend those workshops, they have all been videoed and they will be available online for anyone who needs them. We recently started a Pinterest, which has been getting about 400 monthly views a month, and that is the data from that collected shows that a lot of Pinterest users are the Valley Springs West End area, so really happy about that. And the LinkedIn is something that we are working on as well. It's a lot of things to kind of get a grasp on, but we have a start on it. We did also create a new website, and completely from the ground up. So the new website is still under construction. I would like to say that for sure. But the impact we've been able to, I guess, kind of show since February. It says January, that's when I started it, but it really didn't launch until about February. And also these numbers have changed since I checked them this morning. So with this new website, we are now up to actually 4,123 website sessions. We are up to 2,980 unique visitors to the site, and this means that there's nearly 3,000 unique computer or phone IDs that have come to our website seeking information. And our most frequented page has changed as well. It has now become the events and workshops page, where people are coming to try to find information on the website. The bounce rate does remain about the same, so that means when people come to our site and then they see a link for another business, they click to it, so that's about 67%, so that means that 60% of the people who come to our site are actually finding another business or another resource and leaving from that. We have a lot of work to do on it as well. The main focus that I have that has been challenging but will be my main focus continuing moving forward, I'm about 25% completed with it. But it is our updated business directory. I had to start this from scratch, but basically it's going to have chamber members, all of the Calaveras chamber members that reach out to want to be added to the directory will be next, and then after that I will start reaching out to all of the businesses that are not represented to try to make sure that we get all of them. This is just going to be my process on getting everyone onto the directory. There is also going to be a huge growth section in the resources, so as far as rural business development, we're going to have a huge connection with the MBDA, and there's going to be a lot of resources provided there, whether they be educational content, grants, things like that. They're all going to be kind of easily accessible from the site as best as I can create that. And the educational content as well, the webinars, the virtual classes that we're working on creating, things so that anybody can find what they need, or if they can't attend because of schedules, they'll still be able to get those whatever experts we can bring forward. Yeah. So our next goals are kind of to continue doing that process. We're always open to ideas and feedback, so that way I can find out, figuring out what community members haven't we heard from yet, what businesses haven't I heard from, what additional resources can we bring into the community, how can we find easier ways to connect everybody and connect them with the chamber and our resources. And then we'll just continue to try to do things about it and to evaluate what can be done and do it. And I guess my my final thing is definitely, if you know of any local businesses who want to reach out for resources, I am very happy to listen whenever I can. The chamber phone goes directly to my cell. So, yeah. Thank you, and thank you for your time. Any questions or comments? I'm very open to anything here.
Thank you, Ms. Parks. Supervisor Stopper.
The chamber's been a little bit of in a vacuum a little bit in positions when it came to director, when he came in for a little while, and then, prior to being elected, Mr. Hubbard, he did pick that slack up, and he was doing some good things with the chamber also. And then prior to that, there was a little flux, and then, when we really got it going, prior to me being on the board, there was a grant that funded quite a bit. But, I just was going through the website again off of this, and those are broad steps moving forward, and I appreciate some of the extra help that you've given to the west side of the county and everything. Are you still in the Hubbard building?
Yes.
I was sure of that, but I went in for a lot of this is hard, so I went in for a meeting with Motherload Job Training Agency because I'm on their board and everything, and the door's locked during the day.
Yes, it has to be.
It has to be. It didn't have to be before. Why is it locked?
It has to be because of the different organizations that are within that building, and I guess the clientele that would be sometimes in and out. We do not have a official, I guess, front desk.
There used to be one there.
And I believe there is plans, I don't know the exact details on this, so don't quote me on it, but I believe there is plans to kind of do some reconstruction on that building in order to put in a front desk, help desk, so that way it will not be necessary.
That way you have your filter on who's
Yes.
coming in and out of the building. I completely understand how that's supposed to work. There was well, with Motherload Job Training Agency, those are people looking for work. That those doors need to be open. We need a podium in there or whatever organization's coming out, whatever changed. When we have something like Motherload Job Training Agency in the building that's helping people that look for work that are in need, you can't show up to a building and have the door locked. Chamber of Commerce can't have their hands tied for people coming in. Literally, I had to hit the doorbell, and I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying this is the actual situation, and it's not like a blame game. But the steps got to be taken to address that, to keep those doors open. For chamber, for Motherload Job Training, that's not something you do when you're giving services to people, is have a locked door. So, not pointing the finger at you. I appreciate the work. A lot of steps forward, and after you coming in, after a bit of transitional vacuum when it came to the head position in there. I appreciate the work you're doing with what little the chamber has right now. And, you know, keep building and building more. Better.
Thank you.
Supervisor Tofanelli?
I agree with Supervisor Stopper, and I think we had this conversation a couple months ago about the door being locked, and you have to ring a doorbell, and somebody comes down, and, well, wait, you want somebody else, and they got to go up and get somebody and finally come down, and then you stand in the doorway. I don't think that's for what Supervisor Stopper was talking about is really when we serve the public, it's something that is not really good. I think we need to relook at that and have those doors open. They used to be for many years in that building when the chamber was there, and they were downstairs, and there was a diocese there, a desk there. You come in, and it was open. It was open to the public. It deters people. So I'm in agreement with Supervisor Stopper. But that being said, I want to thank the chamber for reaching out and doing the things they have done in this end of the county. Like I said earlier, when CBB was here, that you had your dinner on Sunday night, this part of the county down here, off Pool Station Road, and the after-hours event that you had at La Quintana was this end of the county. And it was well received. I attended that event,
Yes.
And the room was full, and you met a lot of people. I think there was a lot of networking going on between the businesses, between Amador, because there was Amador people there. The mayor of Jackson was there also. So I think that was a great event, and I appreciate you reaching out. I'd like to see a lot more, because there are a lot of businesses down this end of the county that need help.
Yeah.
And so thank you very much for what you've done.
Thank you. Yeah.
Supervisor Folendorf?
I have two questions.
Yes.
Since you're advertising and you're reaching out and through all this new promotional, has the chamber been able to gain in memberships over the last year, or how is that aspect of the chamber going?
As far as memberships, I would say we've actually kind of it's gone up a little bit, but it's been a lot more in kind. We've been kind of giving away a lot of memberships in order to kind of help out other businesses. So that's been happening. And then there was kind of and with the new rollover of the website and everything else, there was some that were lost through that process of, they didn't want to maybe continue, that kind of thing. So I would say it's been roughly around 200 members, and it's kind of stayed there with people cycling in and out. So there have been new members, but, other ones dropping off.
That kind of status quo?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the next question, I know, Chamber's philosophy is to really focus on the local businesses and strengthen them within our community. What about, other than making sure local dollars are going to the doors you mentioned earlier with your Plaid Friday events, how are you enticing, especially on the west side of the county, to get those visitors that are coming on the east side to get over to the west side to spend those dollars outside of just the local community supporting these businesses?
Yeah, I would say that that's mainly just there has not been a, pointed, direct point to do that, to get people from that side to come to this side. That hasn't been really the way I've been doing it is trying to get people from outside to come in as a whole to the county. Not maybe so much transfer, but also doing that, encouraging with the networking as well. I mean, that definitely gets members from the east side and the west side to meet and communicate through those after hours and things like that. Because, at those after hour events, there are often, it's everywhere from Calaveras that comes there, big range of businesses. So I could definitely get numbers on that and figure out what's been happening there, or definitely point a focus on that moving forward. Absolutely. But yeah, I would say so far it's just been the social media aspect has been the most helpful as far as connecting the east side and the west side. Yeah.
I asked that question because I
Yeah.
think of all of the lodges on the other side, and you've got the cider business, and outside of just wine tasting, you have opportunities on this side that could branch out outside of those the normal and get
Absolutely.
coming over here to do cider tastings and visit McCollum Hill and things like that. And so how do you get those individuals staying the night in the lodges to say, okay, maybe we're not gonna, do another day of, and wineries might get mad at me for saying it, another day of wine tasting, but instead we're gonna, change it up a little bit and go cider
Right.
tasting or, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
we
Get
are.
that movement of traffic.
Right, we are doing an event coming up soon that is, well, in October, not soon, it feels soon to me, where it's going to be held in Copperopolis, and it's in encouragement to feature kind of Copper Valley and the golfing there, because I know that's a really big thing there, so that's definitely a thing that we're focusing on, is come, spend your time in that beautiful town square, and then it's going to be a summit that's going to be bringing outside people as well from other chambers and from other rural areas to our area to kind of try to create Copperopolis as a tourism destination. So that being said, as far as getting people who are doing the wine tasting locally who still live here, maybe, coming over for spending time, in our different hiking areas, at the cider place in Moke Hill, those kinds of things. I've definitely recently just connected with Posterity Cider Works, that they were new to me. I didn't even know they were there myself, and so that was really exciting to kind of figure that out. So I agree with that, and I would say I have not made steps to do that, but that moving forward would definitely be a suggestion I would love to take on and see how we could make that happen, to do cross-promotional tourism, basically. I would love that, yeah.
Just trying to generate some dollars over here.
Yeah, right.
I see some of it with Moke Hill, like the people that are heading in and out of the county sometimes when they're doing like the 49 route. But more often than not, it's destination bound until they're like heading in and out if they're using those roads, as opposed to 4 going in and out of the east side of the county. So your focus is more like, I hear what Amanda's saying, and that works, but it's someone that's going that side of the county generally only hits our side on the way in and out and spends their dollars. And that's one side focus for what they're doing there. And then the people that go, like, let's say McCollum Hill, we don't have that many places that, see, a lot of the thought process is a lot of times they try focusing back on TOT, and we don't have that much TOT generating. I do have Airbnbs in my district, it's kind of surprisingly, there's a few, but that's just because we don't have the hotels for the most part. I mean, and like Leger right now, it's not done quite yet, but in the near future, but that it's like when people go to, let's say, McCollum Hill or Valley Springs, they're destination oriented for a reason. It's either they're going to the river, kayaking, they're going to Hogan, or they have family, or an event at one of the other, places throughout the area and everything. But that cross county back to the west side from 4 is generally part of the commute. And yes, they do stop here and get gas, but generally there's not a full day event.
I know, I disagree. There's a lot of people that go from the east side, and they're making it a point to go to Sutter Creek instead of hanging out in Murphy's for the day. So if you capture those individuals
commute.
that are making that travel along the 49 corridor, the Golden State Line, I mean, why not entice and advertise on their way back to buy locally on this side of the county? So that was my, you'd be surprised how many people are actually making the travel
To Sutter Creek?
to
Yeah.
Amador County.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
The
definitely
commute, right?
capitalize on the commute.
Well, I appreciate it, and I've seen, appreciate people on the south side of the county come to the north side, including our CEO. We saw breakfast the other day over at Renegade. Thanks for everybody coming over. Rachel, this is not a budget item today, this is an update, but I assume that you'll be coming back at budget time with the request? Probably the same.
I assume so. That is definitely in, the financial section has been it's been off, I'm learning how to become a bookkeeper, basically.
That's,
So I will come back with that when that time comes. Definitely not prepared at
thank
the
you.
moment for that.
And when you do that, if you could report out on specifically the $50,000 we gave last year, how that breaks out?
Yes,
And if you're asking for it again, what is your plan for that money? And I
Right.
will ask, same as I did for the visitor bill, I want the balance sheet to come with it.
right, absolutely.
Fine, Dave.
Supervisor Stopper?
The budget submittal should already be in
Wait,
for this next fiscal year.
I'm sorry, so when would it, what?
We already have our budget books out, like the requests and submittals on a timely basis. I know that they went through the transition last year, but
So for preliminary budget, we would like to have requests in by February, but you certainly could submit something to be included in final.
Okay.
So, and that's, I think last year, the request was included in the final budget, so.
Okay, yeah, and I believe around January, February was when we received our first
did we transfer?
That is
stuff as
correct.
well?
TOT income.
Did we not get that in this time? That would be a question for Denise. I'm sorry.
You can work with admin.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Work with admin, and then they can help you with
Okay,
that final.
thank you.
All right.
Fantastic,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. I think that was my point.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely, thank you.
yeah. I
And you
mean,
get it's your first year, so, yeah, work with admin, and they'll help you out.
this
Yeah,
is-
I was just saying it to put on your radar, so
Yeah,
now you
absolutely.
know.
yeah,
So,
Thank you.
It's a lot easier for us to do this in June than in August.
Right, right.
Are there other questions from the board for Chamber of Commerce at this time? Is there any public comment? Cori? You have 3 minutes.
Good morning, I'll be brief. I just wanted to answer the question on the table around access to the building. I could not agree more that having a locked door is absolutely uncomfortable. It's not how it should be. What happened was that wall had been taken down prior to your presence there, but Health and Human Services is actually has a relationship with the county as the lessor. We lease the building, and we sublease it to the Chamber of Commerce. And in those relationships, we identified a really big need to have a safe entry point for clients to access the building and access those services. We were told that we needed to access funding. So we pursued funding, we accessed funding, and it's in the current budget that's coming up in front of your board as a capital improvement project to rebuild the reception area so that the public can easily access the building.
Yeah, it has a separate entrance. You can close off, and then the entryway there, the front access point where the chamber used to be, so people could come in.
Yeah, the chamber had a front reception desk, and it looks like, I just believe, with the staffing restrictions, I know for our staff, the restrictions are just not able to man the front counter. So we are building that, and that's in the queue.
Thank you. Seeing no further comment, is there any comment online?
There's no online public comment.
Very well, Rachel, thank you very much.